Alrighty, so welcome back to another Sunday breakdown. This week, traders, we're about to be covering GJ, gold, and NAS100. And if you don't know the point of the Sunday breakdown, the whole point is to give you an optical outlook of my perspective on what I see the market's doing. So that way, if you agree with my bias at the current moment in time, that you can go ahead and be able to benefit off it for the market terms to come. So with that being said, just want to make sure that you guys kind of understand the whole purpose of this. But with that being said, let's make sure that we use risk management, follow our trading plans, and most importantly, take profit. With that being said, let's go to the land of the chart so we can hit this off. Alrighty, so here we are on GBay, and we're here predominantly on the monthly time frame. And I just want to kind of show you guys that we're in an uptrend to where these higher highs and higher lows have really been created. Now, what's most important is right around here, we have a bunch of rejection. And if we look at the median of the rejection, it's in like the 188,500 area. But what's most important is this whole month, we've been kind of just going bullish, right? As we switch into the weekly, we see that we've hit an area of resistance and that we have a bit of rejection. But what's most important is that we're still maintaining the higher highs and the higher lows, right? Now, this is the higher high that we've been maintaining. These are all the previous ones. These are some high points, but you can see the higher lows are still going up, which means that we're maintaining. Switching over to the daily time frame, you can see kind of where we're at really as of now within time, right? We were kind of in a short-term downtrend, which you could see as of right here, we broke, we made a lower high, we made a lower low, we made a lower high, we made a low, wasn't lower than this one. Then we made a high, then we made a low. We broke structure, and then we just retested it right around the 192 flat area, which we've been able to push up. So my perspective at least is that we should be able to push up to about the 525. And after that, we should be able to push up to the 198. So I know you guys are like, where the hell are my technicals? Well, here they are. I kind of wanted to showcase my technicals kind of on the market structure timeframes that made the most sense, right? So most recently, we made this higher low right around down here, which is the point A of my fib. We have our point B right around here. And you can see all the little moves I caught in between. I like to kind of keep them in my charts, kind of like almost lets me showcase my wins, right? But also my losses too. As we go down to the 10-hour time frame, you can see that we have not only buyers rejection with this buying candle, but we also have sellers exhaustion, which means that sellers are quite exhausted. And when we look at the common area that we have in common, it's this area right here, like around the 192,500. This is where we all meet at. And this is also previous resistance as well. Going down to the 6-hour time frame, we can see again that we have a new candle that kind of came into flourishing around this area. And again, this is just going to be the buyers rejecting yet again. So really and truly, because this is the last higher low area, I can alter this trend line to really and truly adjust to current time. I could either do this or I can do this. I think predominantly because we're kind of finding structure here, and this is the lowest wick compared to this one in this area, I kind of want to keep it. But yet again, we can just see that buyers are kind of strong within this area. We have our new take profit area, which I said is going to be like around here, like around the 194.850. And predominantly, I just want to see if we can make it back up to the 0%. Switching to the 4-hour time frame, literally same thing. And again, you can see some of the W's I took. Right, I took this one, took this one, took this one, took this one, took this one. I took this one right here, but y'all kind of see that later on the upcoming videos, right? On how the account build is actually going. Stay tuned, stay tuned. And most importantly, we can see here that prices really kind of came back to this indecision area right around here. Let me delete this. And I want to predominantly just focus on this one right here. And the reason being is because this is the most recent area right around down here where price kind of came, where we actually found some great support, right? So where the market kind of tested this area. And, you can see the uptrend flourishing, right? Obviously, we kind of broke structure right around down here. So I could put a counter trend line and we could wait for the breakout. And what I mean by that is this. All right, like we could do something like this and we could wait for the breakout up here at 193,500, but I have that as a take profit area. Notice how buyers even came back down here and retested this area multiple times. It was already going up, and then at one point in time, this is the sellers. We came back and retested the same area, hence why I have the zone right there. Going down to the 1-hour time frame, we can see it kind of quite fine and quite beautiful, right? That predominantly, since we kind of dropped off, this is the lower high right here, and boom. So in a sense, buyers are trying to stabilize from what I see it. Buyers have not yet found their support yet. So within this area, not only do we have this beautiful QP right around here at the 192,500, But shit, we got one right around here at the 750 as well that we could potentially even find as support as well. So leaving these two kind of on there, I just want to kind of see market open how we kind of do. But I can anticipate that probably will come back around the 600 area, kind of get this little retest. Because if I go down lower, yep, this looks like a potential retest area that we could come back around. Maybe we could drop back down, get our retest and find. But I'm looking for us to be really good, and I know we're securing this trade. I'm looking for longs from this area at least, with a stop loss somewhere like around here, and we can ride this move up kind of like this in a sense, right? Easy, truly ride it right back up into this minor zone right here, which I'll make in red. Now, I'm probably going to be going ahead and taking this same trade today, post-market open, if everything kind of plays out as planned. Outside of that, I don't really see too much on sells right now, just because of the way I have a higher time frames look with all this rejection. But we could come back down a little bit more steeper. It's not looking probable as of right now, but shit, you never know. You never really know. But as of right now, the base how I see it, I'm more prone for the buys. I want to say maybe if we break under here, I'll take some sells, but I don't see the sells being too dominant for too long when it comes to GJ. So that's kind of my bias on GJ as of right now. Let's switch to Goldie. Man, gold. I caught some crazy sells on this pair last week, bro. Oh my god. So I know y'all see, and gold is no different with the overall bias, right? Like, we're obviously up in this uptrend. We know where we are. Same thing as the weekly, right? Same thing as the monthly. We just been trending up on gold. Gold has just been creating generational wealth, as we like to call it, right? Now, we kind of came back and retested this QP right around here. So the next QP that's after that is going to be this 25, somewhere like around here, to where we're actually finding somewhat not of some support on this area as of right now, which I'm not going to lie, I love. I love the fact that gold has just been trending. Gold has really just been setting the tone. Last week, I thought gold was going to kind of sell. It did, but it didn't do it when I anticipated, but we'll jump into that, right? Gold kind of did exactly what I wanted it to do, though. It kind of came back to this retest area right around here and kind of got its retest. You'll see as we kind of go down to the lower time frames, this is the overall trend. And gold is a pretty simple pair to follow, right? Sellers have been taking over, right? We've completely made the momentum shift, if you ask me, to where we made these high points. And I just deem it possible that gold may be in a sell-off area just because we're here getting this retest. So we may be able to actually ride the volume down. It just all depends if this QP and how we respect. But as I'm shifting down lower, I could see that sellers, we're seeing more abrupt sellers candles. We're seeing more sellers kind of come into momentum here, come into flourishing, which is really kind of good for our bias, really and truly, right? Because if we kind of make the data kind of match up, right? You can see clearly that sellers kind of took over once we kind of broke right here. And we have a bit of a counter trend line that we can go ahead and draw. Well, I would say trend line because the trend is sells right now. So yeah. Overall, we're in a buy bias, right? But let's kind of shift it off to the 2 hour because I see a shitload of rejection right here. And this is the area that kind of concerns me the most, right? This big behind area right here. We came and we tapped into it once and we rejected. So I want to see what price can do. We probably may come for a touch of this trend line again, but these rejections looking like the buys ain't quite done. These rejections are heavy from the sellers and then they transition to the buyers if you look at the bottom of these wicks right here. So I'm really kind of seeing that we're probably going to make an up influence, but the sellers area for the retest kind of starts off around here. So I'm looking to see what happens here. And I'm looking to see what happens here. Want to see if price can break above this QP, retest this area so we can kind of drop back down. But if we come back to this QP right around here and we find a support, it's going to be lit. So really and truly, I see two biases, right? I see a buy bounce off this QP up here to the upside. Really and truly keeping it simple, keeping it right? But then I can also see, obviously if we don't work out, I can see a sell anywhere from this range with a stop loss of somewhere up here and riding the momentum downwards to the downside. So really just all depends on what we do at this QP. Just because these rejections are so strong, you come back to the hour, you can see that, sellers immediately took over. Buyers came back up with the ripple up. I'm really anticipating the sells. If we don't sell off from here, we'll definitely sell off from this QP and go to the downside. So really and truly, we're just watching price action. But as we kind of come to this higher time frame, the data can be a little bit more cleaned up to where we can see that we definitely respected right around here, and this bounced right back up to the upside. So I'm gonna say that we need to have somewhat not patience with this move, and just kind of let gold kind of show us what it wants to do if we're gonna trend higher or whatnot. But really and truly, based on where we are within price action as of right now, I can see that we're in this defined range, right? And that this area right around here, this is the first area that got broken. This is the next area that needs to get broken. So as I said, we could reject from right here and come down and come straight back, or we could come back around here and get this retest somewhere within this area. Or we could break and shoot up and then come find support and then push up. So it's really just analyzing that lower time frame data and really just seeing what gold's gonna do. But gold, my hit rate on gold has been phenomenal, like phenomenal. So I'm gonna have some fun trading gold this week. Last but not least, it's NAS100. NAS100 has just been giving us some beautiful moves, despite the sell-off that you may see, right? Because obviously we took a bit of a sell, and obviously we needed to do some type of retesting. Let me kind of clean up these QPs. There we go. We can see that NAS, switching to 10-hour time frame, we were kind of like in this sell-off from NAS from like up here, and like we sold. Believe me, we sold. But I think now, based on where we are higher time frame wise, I think it's time for a recovery back into the upside. I think all that bad shit is done with, and I think we're gonna kind of pump back up. So my goal is to kind of ride it back up to here, but obviously we're gonna trade what we see. But that's the thing, right? What do I see? Allow me to alleviate some of the data, right? Kind of clean it up, make it look sexy for y'all real quick. So what do I see? We're on the 8-hour time frame, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. As of right now, like the downtrend was downtrending until right around here. We broke, then we stabilized and found some support, and buyers just agreed that this 500 QB was really like an area of support. So once really and truly, like if I don't know NAS moves via a higher time frame orientation. So we broke this structure right around here, and we should be basically pushing up to the upside. And you can see the multiple areas that got respected, both here and here, right? Where it kind of retested the same area twice, kind of confirming. Yeah, buyers were definitely in control. Y'all see all these little zones from like my lower time frame data, but notice this, right? Notice from this push up, we kind of been good, right? And this was like the main trend changer right around here. So I want to kind of pop a little trend line on this because this is the one that really shaped the tone for us. And you can see like just kind of connecting it, right? Like the bodies of price, like we started off rejecting the wicks and then we came into the body of price like right around here. And we could adjust it to right here, but I like this so much more better because it's realistic, right? The bodies of price came and interacted back to trend line, and now we pushed up. So not only do we have, if we go down to like the 3-hour, not only do we have like a newly founded resistance area like right around here, but now it's also going to be our take profit, right? And then I know you see this random space right here. This is also a take profit as well, but we'll get into that shortly. Kind of going into the 2 hours so we can see what's going on. Again, a bit of consolidation, but one thing you're going to love about NAS for sure is that when NAS makes its retests, it makes its retests coming back into the golden zone, getting its retest of this lower time frame zone right here where we kind of made this little retest, right? Came back multiple times to find support on this area. Kind of clean up some of these other zones real quick. Got a lot of counter trend lines kind of going on, but you know, I understand it, so that's all that matters. And boom, right? So we can see right around here, this is kind of like our take profit area. You can see we're kind of doing fine. We're probably gonna blast this, and you can see the negative 27% kind of lines up right here with this zone, which is probably gonna be an optimal take profit area for us if we keep on trending and looking good. But we just broke this 750 QP, so NAS is definitely looking good for V buys to the upside. Unless we hit that resistance area and we just begin to struggle again to where we're probably gonna like slowly build momentum to do a big breakout. But looking as low as the 1-hour time frame, like yo, we're looking good. NAS just broke this area. We're looking good for this week for these longs. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, I know NAS be doing some shit, but NAS she gonna do some shit, some more shit. You can see the little counter trend line that I had from like right around here to where we like broke. We like touch this point, and I knew it was safe for me to trade right here. Like NAS, I love doing trend lines on NAS. It just makes it make sense. This trend line is more of a higher time frame. That trend line that I just deleted was more of like lower time frame, just trying to make sure the shift was ready based on supply and demand and QPs and everything like that. But NAS is not hard to trade. Thing with NAS is like NAS, you could almost trade it like GJ. You just got to be a little bit more patient and wait for the retesters. Gold, you can't trade it as fast. It's not a fast paced thing. Like when you're trending, but you got to kind of wait for the trend to set its tone and then kind of go for the move. GJ, you can take setups off this shit and be profitable either way. But NAS100, there's something special about her. Something real special about her. But yeah, nevertheless with NAS, again, looking good 4V buy bias. As long as we stay above these two areas, we should be good to push up to this next target, which is about the right around up here, which is going to make that new higher high, and then we'll be able to push up from here to like the 250, which is right about like right up here. So we got these future take profit areas. You just got to see how this trend works. So I'm expecting like a minor retest and a continuation with NAS, but we'll see how NAS kind of starts off and goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So real quick, hold on. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining the Sunday breakdown. If you guys do agree with my bias or see the same things I see, make sure I hit it up in the comment description, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. With that being said, it's your boy Juicy Banks. Thank you guys so much. Deuces. I'm about to get to it later.